Morning guys, Moorhuhn here. I just finished my body armor and wanted to show how to make something alike. For that I have just bought two bases that we can modify a bit, and I hope that they don't brick in the first try, because well, I'm kinda stuck with my currency because I pretty much used everything I had to make this body armor. But yeah, here we have two bases. I can show how to attempt the craft, and if they fail, I guess I just go through the idea. The first step is to get a body armor with specific modifiers. What we want is a tier 1 life and tier 1% armor. You could also go for a different prefix, but I do personally very much like the percent armor because it gives the highest possible armor value. You could go with hybrid armor health for a good armor value and more health. Then I want one tier 1 suffix, which is either resistance or an attribute I am in need of. So then we can look at these bodies and buy one we're liking. Here, for example, we see the tier 4 is the flat life, the big one, so we can't take this one. But to be fair, I did buy off a couple of these already. So yeah. This one, for example, is a very interesting one because you can kinda just get it and remove the prefix here, but it's one divine, so starting this craft before any gambling attempts would be like 2 divines. Then we have something like this one has 2 suffixes, very strong, but it does have the tier 4%, but it has a double life, so this one, for example, would be a very good base to start on as well. But as I said, I'm kind of out of currency, so we only have 2 tries. I bought one with a desecrated suffix, which changes a bit, with the hybrid life, with the tier 1 bad life, and the bad percent life. This one was 5 chaos, I do believe, so basically for free. And this one does have tier 1 armor, hybrid armor, like it has flat percent hybrid armor, tier 1 life, and a bad percent life. Then it has 3 suffixes, of which one is the lightning resistance, which is tier 1. It's kind of important. Then we have 2 perfect essences of the body, and just slam on those. They will remove a prefix because both of these do not have an empty prefix. If they had an empty prefix, the essences could also remove a suffix. But since these do have filled up prefixes, we can only remove prefixes. So basically, we just throw these on here and hope one of these survives. And actually, I do think both did. Yeah, here we removed the percent armor, and here we remove the percent armor as well. So this one is kinda sad though. I did get it because it was very cheap. But this one would be an intermediate upgrade because the hybrid flat and percent armor roll is actually really bad. It only is good if you want a triple armor prefix, because this one really just doesn't hold up. 80 flat armor just isn't it. That's why I would favor the double life prefixes here. However, now what we have here is a tier 2 fire resistance and the duration of bleeding. And we have the duration of bleeding and the stun threshold and the lightning resistance. Now this one does not have a desecrated modifier, and this one does have. So what this means is that here, the lowest modifier we can remove now, and I don't want to throw that onto the ground, is the duration of bleeding. Both of these are tier 2, but when you take a look at, where do I have it? Kinda somewhere, no, here. When you take a look at the body armor mods, you see duration of bleeding and the lightning fire resistance. I do believe all of them have the same level, but sometimes there's differences. So lightning fire resistance here. Is it? Blind. Yeah. Tier 2 has a level requirement of 71, and that's the important part. Then we have the duration. These have on tier 2 a level requirement of 64. So here you can, with the Omen of Whittling, safely remove the duration because it does have a lower level requirement. I did craft this with perfect Exalted Orbs, and the Omens of Whittling are perfect Chaos Orbs, and the Omen of Whittling are kinda expensive. That's why it's kinda sad that this one has a tier 2 fire resistance, because now we would have the problem. We do hit the duration of bleeding and then get, like, as an example, a tier 1 reduced duration of poison or bleeding again, because you can roll the same or twice. This one would result in basically a bricked body, because you cannot remove the bad mod again. That's why a tier 1 is so extremely valuable. However, here we can see we have 2 bad modifiers on it, and it's kind of difficult to get rid of them. But actually, is it? Well, the body was kind of cheap, the essence was kind of cheap, so here we are about 20 chaos, if even, I think, maybe 10 chaos even, in the craft only, and now we have a very cool option, which is the suffix rip. Omen of Dextral Necromancy together with a Preserved Rip, because this one does not have a desecrated modifier. Here you can see, price-wise, this also is fairly cheap. This one costs basically not even 2 exalts. This one costs 5. So here we are at 7 exalt craft. So even if we now gamble away the lightning resistance, it's still like not a too expensive craft, and it's kind of, well, let's get the next one, whatever. This is a 1 in 3 gamble to keep the resistance, and if we do hit the resistance, we have a very, very potent body armor. So let's see. Yeah, of course we did hit the resistance. But if we did not hit the resistance, we would have one of these modifiers removed, and could then, again with the Omen of Whittling, change one of the crafts here. Would hit the desecrated modifier because it does not have a level requirement, I do believe. Let's see. But of Swords, we can reveal something. All of this is very terrible, but the thing is that desecrated modifiers can always be removed by the Omen of something something. A null only hits Omen of Light, it is. So technically now, we just imagine now, because I did fail the slam, if we now use an Omen of Light and an annulment, which I do have, we would remove the desecrated modifier. Because the Orb of Annulment can only remove the desecrated modifier, and then we would have a body armor with, well, if we now take a look at Whittling, it still will remove the stun threshold because it is the lowest modifier, because the dexterity and intelligence it cannot hit for some reason. Like these, I guess, just don't have a level requirement, so the Whittling does just not target desecrated modifiers, which is extremely strong. So just imagine we did hit either stun threshold or duration of bleeding enemies, and now we could, with the Omen of Whittling, constantly reroll the mod, as I did on my body armor, until we hit something like a tier 1 resistance, or the armor applies to elemental damage in a high tier. And you can do this as long as you have currency. It takes about 1.5 to 2 divines currently per roll, though the market is extremely fluctuating right now. Like, divines dropped by 30 C in the last, or 30 exalted in the last, like, 2 hours or something. So yeah, we don't know where the market is going right now, but yeah, you have tons of options, and this is a very cool way of doing this. Now, yeah, actually we can just try it. Let me quickly get something. Maybe we hit something cool here. Though, as I said, I don't have a lot of currency right now, so we will only do one Whittling try. But actually, I'm not even sure here if I want to use a perfect Chaos Orb. I only want to use the other one. Take a look at where the perfect Chaos Orbs are right now. They are at 140 C, and they only up the requirement by a bit, like 15 levels. If we take a look, resistances would go from... Actually, we would skip 2 parts of... Yeah, maybe. Yeah, okay, that's perfect Chaos Orb. Okay, where do we get 140x now? I guess from annulments. Oh, 10 and 150. 40.
I'll post it right away.
Hey. Come on. And then we will... This one we kind of throw into the trash now, or more or less we just put it online for, I don't know, something. Maybe somebody likes the percent life or like just the amount of life, so we...
I have no idea.
I'm kind of angry that this is true. We can just... Another trade for 5, I guess. What was it? 79? 69? 74. Yeah, I can.
All right. Your order is ready.
And then we're getting the perfect chaos orb. 20. Like, these are fluctuating as well a lot, so... And now we can try to change the duration of bleeding for something good. And we've got chaos resistance. I'm kind of fine with that. Just for selling purposes here, so we're not hunting something insane. But like these already don't really exist greatly, so you can see like something comparable. Not even on the best base. This one just has a lot of armor. Is kind of expensive already. Now what we're doing is putting 2 of these on there and upping the quality a bit. And then throwing some... Have them. I'm out of everything. Iron runes as well have gone down in price by quite a bit.
I'll post it right
Which is pretty nice. So now we have 950. We can see the percent armor is a lot more, though this one has a bit more life. We don't have resist like the strength here, but this one would even lose me HP because the strength is the better HP mod. But yeah, with strength this one would have a bit more HP and a lot of chaos resistance. But yeah, this one is just for selling. I don't know what to price it yet for, but I guess we're just throwing something like 15 divines onto it, or so. Not sure.
Is that a good
Maybe
price
somebody
for
buys
it?
it, maybe not. We'll see.
I have no idea.
Has a lot of chaos resistance over a lot of resistances, so maybe possible. We'll see. But yeah, this basically is how I crafted this body armor, and it's a somewhat efficient way of doing it. And you have a lot of tries by just searching through the market and finding good bases. Like, you can just put this on live search or refresh every now and then, and you will find pretty good bases for cheap. As I said, I bought the other 2 for 5 and 20x or something alike respectively, or 5 chaos and 20x. I don't know anymore, doesn't matter too much. But you can see 22 chaos for a base that though does have the life mod, so you have to look a bit through these. What you can do as well is put it like this. So if you have a body armor that, for example, has 100 armor and 200 life, now what you can do, which is kind of interesting, you get a base for 2 divines. So now you have an interesting option, because the first thing I would do here is use the rip again with the omen of Dexter Necromancy to get a 3rd suffix in there, so that we have 3 suffixes, and again have the fire resistance and 2 empty prefixes. And then what I would do is go with the omen essence suffix with the omen of Dexter crystallization, which is about 60x. It's kind of expensive. But what this does is that the omen can only remove a suffix. So if we use this on this body after adding a suffix with the Dexter Necromancy, which is about 10x, then we invest total of 70x to gamble a 1 in 3, so actually quite decent chance of getting either the Necromancy mod removed, which is 3 basically, or the armor applies to elemental damage removed, which is very good because on the first roll then we would not have to use the Omen of Whittling, which is another 140x saved, and we would guarantee the 3 perfect prefixes. So extremely good, a 1 in 3 for 2.5 divines basically. Actually more like 3 divines right now due to the divine price shift, to get a perfect prefix body armor with a tier 1 suffix and a 50-50 or and if yeah, a 50-50 to, if you don't hit the fire res, to have either the necromancy mod, which is very good, or to have the armor or the bad suffix, which then you can reroll through the whittling process I explained earlier. So overall, very, very cool process. Again, here, if you see something alike, you again have to check, because this is a very interesting one. Here I would do the exact same thing, though not for 5 divines. That's too expensive for the gamble. Right, things here. Oh, this is what we're looking for. Going through other stuff as well. Then you have to look again. Duration, poison duration here has a 76. So this one for tier 1 mod is a very low item requirement, which means that we can remove it at any point. And also it does mean that the resistance is at 82, which is the highest requirement for a suffix. So no matter which suffix you're hitting with the whittling, you can always reroll. No matter what, and you will never hit the resistance, because the resistances have the highest requirement, together with the armor and the chaos resistance 1 below. So as soon as you hit the chaos resistance, the life regeneration, or the armor applies to elemental resistance, you basically have finished the item. Or if you have 2 bad suffixes, you can, if you hit one of them, then safely reroll further without risking to remove the other tier 1 mod unit. So extremely easy craft, though it can get expensive if you're unlucky with the whittlings. So enough talking, this was already a much longer video than I anticipated for, but I do think I explained everything throughout and basically answered every question that would come up. But still, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, and yeah, let me know, and I will answer everything to the best of my knowledge. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.